Hello everyone, welcome back to 100 Days of Coding with Derrick-Redeemer. This is day 4 of our coding journey, and we have done what so far? Yeah. In day 3, we learned about the basic structure of an HTML document. We talked about the doc type, this one here, the doc type. We also talk about the doc type is what the doc type declaration, then the HTML tag, this one, and then the last one here, the head section. You only look at some small thing here, the head section, this one here. So this one, we have the open head, and then the closing what head tag. Then the title tag, this particular one here, the title tag, then the body where you type your work, anything that is visible on your website where you type it. So this one, then this. So from here to here, so from here to the closing body tag here. Tag here. Yeah, today we are going to learn about HTML headings. HTML headings. HTML headings. So let me explain the headings. So headings are used to create titles and subtitles on a web page. They help us organize content and make our web page easier to read. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand the 6 headings levels in HTML and know when to use each one. So we are going to learn about this one. Yeah, let's get started. Let's look at what headings are. What are headings? So let me give you a real life example here. Imagine you are reading a book. The book has a title. That's the main title, chapters, sections, and then subsections. Websites work exactly the same way. Heading helps us organize information into different levels. It helps us organize information to what? Different levels. That's how headings behaves. So let's look at the HTML headings. So HTML provides 6 heading tags. HTML provides what? 6 heading tags. So here I'll be creating a new file, but let's use this one for the practicals first. So the first heading we have, let me change my language. We have the H1, so this one, the H1, then the tag. Then I can copy this. Let's say I want to copy this. So copy. Oh, sorry, I cut instead. So I only need to paste the code here. Paste. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll do more about this. How you can write this one easily. Sorry, this H1 rather. H1. Then the next one is H2. So the next one is supposed to be H2. Sorry. So H2. Oh, H2. Then I close the tab. So H2. I supposed to click on that one. So sorry. So H2. The next one is H3. The next one is what? H3. Then tap here on it. Sorry, it was not suggested. Suggested. Oh, sorry. Then the H4. H4. Then the next one, that's what? Another H4. So I'm just closing the tab. The tag H5. Then this one towards H5. Then the next one is H6. The next one is what? H6. That's the closing tag. Sorry, the closing tag. Oh, sorry, there was a mistake here. So let me close this. Then let me close this one as well. So this, all right. So this one is what? The first heading. Then you have the second heading, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. So let me clean the body from there. The body. Yeah. So yeah, the lower the number, the more important the headings. The lower the number, the more important what the headings. So the H1 here has more benefit or important. It is more important than the rest. I mean, the H1 will display the work big or the code big on the web browser. In the web browser, the H2 will also display it in that order. So the H2 is smaller than the H1. All right. So let's take them one after the other. So H1, that's the main heading, as I said earlier. The H1 tag is the most important heading on a web page. This particular one here. Where is this? This one here. This one. So I'll claim this one, but that one I'll create a different file for it. I only want us to know the difference between them first. So think of H1 as the title of a movie. The H1 as what? The title of what? Of a movie. So let's use some funny example. Or let's use some example here. So I'll clear this one from here. You will let me maintain it. Since we will create a new file. So how? So let's say how I accidentally let's say ate my roommate's jollof rice. My roommates, so roommates jollof rice. So jollof rice. My roommate's jollof rice. Yeah. So if this were a rest story, so let's say if this were a rest story, each one would be the main title everyone sees first. The H1 will be what? The main title everyone will see first if they open your website. So most web page should have only one H1 as a heading one, because it represents the main topic of the web page of the page. So let me open a live server. So I'm going to a live server. I'm going to open a live server. Yeah. So how I sorry, there was a mistake somewhere. The codes, yeah. Now you can see here. Because I've saved it, I've done automatic save during the first video. I don't need to save it again. So let's ignore. Let's say this one was not there. This will be the first heading here. How I accidentally ate my roommate's jollof rice. And you know this is not accident. It is intentional. Now let's move to the heading 2. The second heading here. This particular one here. This one. So the A2, that's the heading 2. Divide your page into major sections. Divide your page into what? Major sections. So let's say the discovery. So example, I'm just using an example here. So the serene. So the sorry. Oh, what's wrong? Yeah, my hand was touching this one. The discovery. So you let me do it small here so that we can see it clearly. So let me do it small here so that you can see it clearly. Yeah. So I'll be using this one to show you here. So let's go back to the discovery. The discovery. Now let me open towards the web page. So continuous, the discovery. This is where we explain how the delicious bowl of jollof was discovered in the fridge. So I'm using the story how I accidentally ate my roommate's jollof rice. Yeah. So this is where we explain how the delicious bowl of jollof was discovered in the fridge. So think of A2 as a chapter titles in a book. So let me open it again. Let me open the web server. So let me expand it. So now this one here. This one, how the jollof rice was discovered in the fridge. This one here. Yeah. Let's go to the page. Sorry, the heading 3. The heading 3. This particular one here. This one here. This one. Yeah. So that one. You are going to also type some funny thing as well. So A3 headings break H2 sections into smaller parts. So the H2 sections. This one here. The heading that breaks into what smaller parts is what the heading 3. Are you here? I hope you are following. That's what the heading 3. So let's also write this one too. Why I thought it was mine. So why I thought it was mine. How it was mine. The jollof rice was mine. How I thought the jollof rice was mine. So now we are explaining why we believe the jollof belongs to us or me. Let me use me. The jollof belongs to what? Me. Maybe hunger affected our journey. That's the reason. Hunger affected our journey, our coding journey, or our judgment. So let's say our judgment. There may be the container look familiar. The container would look familiar to me, or the investigation continues. So the investigation continues. That's what we have. So this one, I will have what? Maybe anger affected my judgment or our judgment. Maybe the container looks familiar to me. The investigation continues. Here, so the investigation continues. Now let me open the page again. Now this one, why I thought it was mine. Why I thought it was mine. Evidence collected. So now we are gathering what facts. So in the heading 4, it's like we are gathering what facts. So the spoon was still inside the bowl. after eating the food, the spoon was still inside of the bowl. The container has somebody else's name written on it. So everything that in the heading 4, that's what we have there. I hope you are following. Things so things are not looking good. You can also have something like that. That's the evidence we collected. Are you here? And let's also go to heading 5. The heading 5, this particular one here. The heading 5, this one. So we are going to type another one too. So that's what additional information. So let's say you are typing your witness statement. So the witness statement, the witness was statements. So now we interview witness. So we interview what witnesses. So this is what we are going to. My brother says he saw me smiling while eating. So my junior brother says he saw me was smiling while eating. Right. Then this is what supporting information. So the my brother says he saw me smiling eating while eating is what the supporting of information. That's what the witness. Right. So let's open it again. The web browser. So this one here, the witness was statement, that particular one there. All right. Let's go to our code editor. Then we have the AC, the smaller one. The smallest heading. That's what. So let's say case closed. After witness, case closed. So let's say case closed. Let me open the web browser again. So case closed. This particular one here. That one. Can you see? So let me try to increase the browser, the font. So I made this one here. This one. Yeah. Let me return to back. Now let's go back to our example. So the final verdict. So this was the case closed. That's what the final verdict. So guilty of consuming another person's jollof rice. So I'm guilty of eating or another person's rice or consuming another person's rice. But it was not for me. Maybe I knew that the food was not for me. But I ate it. It is nice sometimes. Yeah. So here when I'm fine, I am guilty. I have to buy what the jollof to replace it immediately. The jollof that I ate, I have to buy another jollof to replace that support immediately. I hear. All right. So you are going to type this one here as you are watching the video. I will advise you to also be typing along as well, be coding along. So let's see all the headings together. So we have what this one. I think I've explained that one already. The heading 1, this particular one here. That's what's the largest heading. When we run this code, the browser is going to show us what the largest heading. So this one here, the largest heading. Then we have this one too. This one, the smaller heading. You also have smaller. This one too is smaller than the H2. The H3 is smaller than the H2. Then the H4 is smaller than the H4. Sorry, the H3. The H52 is also smaller than the H4. The H6 is the smallest. The H6 is the smallest among them. The smallest among them. Yeah. So this size difference helps users understand which information is most important. So it helps users to understand which information is important. All right. So here we are going to do some practicals here. So I'm going to open. What we did from the previous video, we are going to combine everything together. When you are done your practice, you are done with your practice, you can post your results in the comment section below. Yeah. So let's create a simple web page. So we are going to create another web page here again. This particular one, there's this one. We are going to create another web page. Hope you are following. We are going to create another web page. So you create a new file. We create a new file. So that file, let's name that file headings.html. So headings.html. HTML. Yeah. Then you press enter. Hope you are following. So we are going to start on what? We are going to start on the declaration. The declaration. That's what open. Sorry, less than sign. The doc type. This one. So there's a doc type here. The doc type here. Then what's HTML? You already know. So HTML. Then we close it with what? A greater than sign. Then this is what my HTML here. So I only need to press enter and come to the next line. Here. So this one I'm going to type head. So head. Sorry, head. Then close it. Sorry, close. Then I'll press my tab again. Here. So let's say the title. The title is HTML heading. So here, let's say title. I said the title should be HTML heading. So HTML heading. So the title. So HTML headings. So let me make here note. HTML headings. Yeah, that's what the title. The one that will show in the tab. The one that will show in the tab. Now let's go to the next part. this one here. So we are done with what? The heading. So let's go to the body. The body. So body. The body. Sorry. The body. Sorry. The body. Then I close what? My tab. So I close this one here. Then enter. And I come to the next one, the next line. So let's name our heading as Derrick-Redeemer. Let's say Derrick-Redeemer. 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 So Derrick-Redeemer. Derrick-Redeemer. It's I said that's the heading. Sorry. So the heading, the H1, the heading 1. Then I come here to what? To close it again. The heading 2. Sorry, to close the heading. So to close heading 1. Then I am done with what? The heading 1. So it's supposed to be H1. H1. Yeah. Right here. Now let's create heading 2 as well. The heading 2. So heading 2, let's say about me. So H2. So H2 about me. So about me. So about me. Yeah. Then let's also create a heading 3. So H3. That's what. Let's name that heading education. Let's say education. Then we create a heading 4, skills. Let's name that one skills. So heading 4. That's this. Then that's second skills. Yeah. Skills. Then we come to what? The heading 5. We come to heading 5. So the heading 5, let's say projects. So heading 5 projects. So H5. So projects. Then heading 6. Heading 6. Let's say contact information. Yeah. So let's say contact information. So A6. Yeah. That's A6. That's contact information. Contact information. Yeah. Contact information. Yeah. Then we have what? The body here. This one, the body. You have the body. Then the HTML closing tag. The closing tag. All right. Then you save the file. Now there's no need for you to save the file again. If you have done that after the link. So let me open the file here. Let me open here. Now you can see I have a Derrick-Redeemer, about me, education, skills, project, and contact information. Now you can see the first heading. This is the first heading here. The first heading, this one. Then the second heading, this one. Then the third heading, this one. So the education is for the third heading. Then the fourth heading, this one. The fifth heading, this one. Then the sixth heading. The list, the smallest one heading here. Now you can see we have HTML headings. That's all the title. Right. Now, why headings are important? Why are headings important? Headings are important because they organize content, they improve readability, they make web pages look professional, they help visitors find information quickly. Without heading, visitors will not find information quickly. So imagine opening a website that contains hundreds of words with no headings. How will it feel? It will be difficult to know where one section ends and another begins. So heading solves that problem. So we use headings to solve that particular problem. All right. Now let's look at SEO and headings. SEO and headings. So the SEO and heading. So there is another important reason for using headings. It is called SEO. The SEO stands for search engine optimization. So SEO helps search engines understand what your web page is about. So for example, let's say best watcher in Africa. So best watcher in Africa. So that's heading 1. So I'm coming to claim this particular one here. The heading 1. So the heading 1, I'm coming to claim this there. So best watcher in Africa. Best watcher. What about watcher? Watcher is a food made with beans and rice. So watcher in Africa. Best watcher in Africa. Best watcher in what? In Africa or in Accra. So since I'm in Accra, let's use Accra. Or Ghana is my capital town. Let's use Ghana. Let's use Accra. So let me open the search engine again. Now you can see it has changed. So I have not finished typing the Accra. What's wrong? Okay, let me refresh. Yeah, best watcher in Accra. All right. So a search engine can easily understand that the page is about watching. The page is about watching. So I said watching is what? A food made with beans and rice. It is nice a lot. It is nice. If you come to Accra, you can get some. Or if you're outside Ghana, you can get some. You come to Ghana, you can get some. It is very nice. But if your heading is H1, so let's say welcome. Let's change this one to welcome. This particular one here, welcome. So let's say this is welcome. So I'm explaining this SEO. So let's say welcome. This one here. Welcome. The search engine doesn't get much information. The search engine will not get much information about it. So good headings help search engines and users understand your content better. So the headings help what search engines and users understand your content better. This can improve the visibility of your website in a search result, result. So this one here, and you can say this welcome, about me, education, skills, project, and what information, contact information. But here, the welcome, what is welcome about? What is the welcome about? No, the search engine will not get much information about that welcome. Right here. All right. Let's also look at some mistakes that the beginners make. So many beginners think headings are only for making text bigger. No, it is never. That is not their purposes. That is not their purposes. That's not the purpose of what headings. That's not the purpose of what headings. So headings are used to show importance and structure. So headings are used to show importance and what structure. Later, when we learn the CSS, we can make any text as big or small as we want. Okay. So headings should be what used to organize information, not just what increase what text size. So we don't use headings what to increase what the text what size. All right. So this will be for the day 4 challenge. The day 4 challenge. So here you are going to create what a web page about yourself using all the 6 headings. You include the H1, so the H1, H2, H3, H4, and the H5. Yeah. And you save your file. You observe the results or the code or the output in your web browser. All right. So today we learned about the H1 heading, the H2, the H3, the H4, the H5, and the H6. In the next lesson, we'll continue our HTML journey and learn how to organize content on a web page. Thank you for watching day 4 of 100 Days of Coding with Derrick-Redeemer. Keep learning, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.